Hey everybody, I'm Sandy Price. I'm your instructor for NLM 310 Volunteer Management. And this semester we are holding the class entirely online. For whatever reason, we didn't get the normal enrollment. So to those of you who were looking forward to a face-to-face classroom, if you want to come see me, I'm still available in my office. And to the rest of you, who are expecting an online experience. Some of you are actually in Arizona and obviously are welcome to visit me also in person. And those of you who cannot, I just want you to know that I'm here and available through all of the wonderful mechanisms of online learning, including our classroom and email, but also office hours by appointment, as much as I can at your convenience. By Zoom or Facebook video chat or Google Hangout or Skype, whatever you know how to do and are comfortable with. If you know one that isn't among those I just named, introduce me to it. I love learning new stuff about tech. Okay, so I should tell you that I am fairly, not entirely, but fairly new to Canvas myself. We have been on Blackboard for years at ASU, and that's what I'm most comfortable with. So if you see something that you think is not as it should be, or something is missing, or you can't find something, it may be that I screwed something up. I'm learning. So anyway, let me do a very short introduction to the Canvas system. This is not the introduction to the class topic. It's more just your hello and welcome to this system. So you see over here that down the side is something of a link menu. When you come out to, when you get onto My ASU and you first click in, hopefully you will click in right to the classroom and you will show up on this home page. I like this home page because it's got the modules all laid out and you can see where we're going. You will need to pay attention to the syllabus though. A lot of what is on the syllabus is also here on our Canvas website, but I tend not to have due dates on the Canvas site, but rather on the syllabus. I will actually put the due dates up somewhere, but I tend not to put them up right on the assignments, because otherwise that means that every semester I have to go back and change all of the due dates for everything, and it's just a lot of work. And you'll see that putting together a class, there are so many pieces of the class, and if there's a piece that I can save myself from doing, then I do. So I don't see it here, but I will actually, before class starts, put up something that says due dates at a glance so that you can find the due dates online. But nevertheless, there's information on the syllabus that you will need to take a look at. And so please know that you should pull out the syllabus every single week and take a look at what we're doing and why, as well as going through the assignments. Okay, so this is the home page, and here we are, and you can see that the modules are here. The module 0, I had some help putting this stuff up here from one of the wonderful people in our IT program, Allison, and she started us at module 0, and she did that to put all of the stuff that wasn't actually course content someplace easy for you to find. So this is what you're looking at, is the welcome page. This is basically, you see right here, what the course is going to be doing. This is my introduction, and basically you definitely need to watch this video before you do anything else. Online learning is very different than face-to-face classroom learning, and it demands a different set of skills and a different kind of organization and activity from you. And this little video, Overcoming the Challenges of Online Learning, will tell you what to expect so that it's not a surprise to you, and help you with the tips that you need to be a really good online learner. All right, next is the textbook information. Okay, so this is the volunteer recruitment book, and it is available used for about $6, or you can download a full digital copy for $18 immediately right there if you don't have the patience to wait for your book. And you don't have any readings in the first couple of weeks, so that will give you some time to find that book. The second book that we're going to use is actually, hang on a second, I did something wrong. All right, is actually this book that it's hard to see here. Let me see if I can open it in a new page and make it bigger. No, I cannot. All right, well, I'll see if I can make it bigger later. But at any rate, it's called Best Practices in Volunteer Management, and it's free, and it's online right here. But I've also uploaded this document to our class files, and you can find it there. As far as I know, you cannot buy a hard copy of this book, but you can obviously print sections down if you need to or want to. It is not a long book. It is a pretty pointed book. All right, so this, thank you to Allison, is our Canvas course tour video. So I'm going to just suggest that you watch it unless you're very familiar with Canvas already. I'm going to watch it. I've now taken a class on Canvas, and this is the second class I will be teaching on Canvas, but it is so different than Blackboard that I still am learning. Okay, so once you've gone through that kind of information that will make sure that you can be a success in the course, that you have the books that you need, and that you know your way around Canvas, then the next things to do are to basically take a look at your syllabus and know that the syllabus, which by the way I'm still monkeying with right now, but let's see if I can pull it up for you. You can see I'm monkeying it with it. What you will have here is all of the stuff that you need to know. There's the, oh, maybe I can do this here for you really quick. Yeah, look how that worked. It won't look like this in the syllabus. I'll move it over. Best Practices in Volunteer Management. That's what your book looks like. All right, now let's put it back. Yeah. All right, so the syllabus will be finished before you are actually watching this. And so let's head back out of this. All right, and then there's also a writing rubric. Let me pull this up really quick. Not that way. This is the cool thing about Canvas. If you click, you can actually see the documents that are referred to here. And Allison was nice enough to drop most of the documents you'll need right into our Canvas classroom. Okay, so this is the writing rubric. It seems to be missing a W up here. But at any rate, I give you this so that you have an idea of what I'm looking for when I'm grading. All right, so this is a generic writing rubric. It may not fit everything exactly, but it will give you some concept of what I think is important. So statement of the problem. So whenever you're writing, you're going to be writing about something, and you're going to say what you're writing about. That's your statement of the problem. In this case, it's talking from as though you were writing an essay. That whining is my dog. I don't know if you can hear him in the background, but he is very upset because my other dog won't play with him. Anyway, sorry about the noise. This essay makes a central claim that is substantive and articulately stated, and the goal of the essay is clear. Even if it's not an essay, even if it's a discussion question that you've been asked to answer, making a clear statement at the beginning about what you are going to talk about and articulating it so that people can understand and not just slapping it in is what we're looking at. All right, so let's compare it to an unsatisfactory. This essay makes no central claim, or one that seems irrelevant, unclear, or self-evident. The goal for the essay or your discussion point is missing or vague. Okay, so those are the two extremes, and in between you can see the kind of a B-level conversation. The essay does make a central claim, but it could be more substantive or better stated, and the idea is hinted at but not fully clear. Somebody who reads it might not know exactly what you're talking about. The essay, for a C, the essay has a claim, but it's weak or it's uninteresting. The goal is either ambiguous or it seems like they're contradicting themselves. Okay, so you can just kind of see, I'm not going to read all these to you, but if you want to know what I'm looking for, you should take a look at this before you start writing, and it will help ensure that you get the best possible grades. All right. Okay, so your next steps after you listen to these things are to take a look at the syllabus and the writing rubric. I want to make a point here. If you think you're a bad writer, that's because nobody has ever taken the time to teach you to write. I have had so many students. I've been teaching in college since 2006, and I taught before that. In fact, I taught writing to juniors in high school one year who were not able to pass the Arizona Ames test, which is the test that you have to take to get out of high school. And every single one that worked with me actually had flunked the Ames literature portion before I helped them, or language portion, I guess, and passed it after they took a little 6-week course from me. What I know is that you can learn to write. It is not a skill that people are born with. Some people seem more natural at it. Those are people, for the most part, who just love reading as a hobby and have learned to write because they've done so much reading. And if you love to read comic books, I bet you could write them. But people who are really good writers right off the bat are usually very copious readers. So, but even if you're a copious reader and you haven't figured out how to take up a pen or a typewriter or computer and put pen to paper, it is learnable. It's so important for you to learn to write. It's important because it will give you better grades in college, but the real reason it's important is because you will be writing your entire career. There is almost no career in which you do not have to put together memos, persuasive letters, marketing material, whatever you're going to do, recruiting material, and you can. Your voice is more powerful if you learn how to wield those tools that we call words. If you have a hard time writing, I challenge you to take something that you've written that you're not entirely happy with, or that you turned in and got a not entirely good grade on, over to the ASU Writing Center, or I'm not sure how this works if you are not on campus, but I have to imagine that you can connect with the ASU Writing Center even by email and ask them for help. I'm sorry about my dog. I hope it's not as loud on the other side as it is here. Okay, so if the Writing Center doesn't make you happy, come talk to me. It's not like I have a slew of time, but I will help anybody who wants help learn to be a better writer. If you are committed, I will commit that time to you. Okay, now let's see what this says about navigation. At the beginning of the course, make sure to just click on all the links and see where things are located. I will tell you it can be a little confusing because, let me put us back up here. You see all these things on this particular, there's like 2 different legends to the left. This one that is inside the classroom, for example, when you go to the modules, and we'll do this later, we were already in, you will see that there's all kinds of stuff here, and you have to go all the way down here to get to these modules. And the assignments, if you go straight to the assignment, the discussions are in the modules, the assignments are in the modules, and then there's just the assignments, which it isn't there right now because I just decided to dump all the assignments from last semester. They were quizzes. Students hate quizzes. I hate grading quizzes. Hopefully I have a better idea. They're not up there yet. But like in the assignments, here are all the discussions. If you go to the discussions, here they are again. So my point is, it's a little confusing. You're going to get to all of these modules get to all the stuff that's in these modules in different ways. All right, we are now in module 1. Let's go back to home where we can find module 0 again. All right, it's just very confusing even to me. If there was an easier way, God knows I would offer it to you. Okay, so my point for that was to show you that you can look around, but it's going to be confusing. If it were me, I would just come to the home page and pick up at whichever module you are in. And I would ignore all those other things on the side. Okay, here is another place that is important for you to go. It's the announcements. There are no announcements here yet, but I communicate a lot through these announcements. I will set them up so that they also send you an email notifying you that there is an announcement. But you need to check the announcements with relative frequency. And I don't have any really good way of communicating with you in an online class except through email. If you are a person who knows that you do not check your school email very often, then go to the trouble of finding out how to forward your school email to your preferred email, at least for the semester while you are in an online class. The class moves pretty fast. If you miss stuff that comes in email, you're going to have problems. You are responsible for everything I communicate to you through email because you just are, because that's the way that I can most easily communicate with you when you are not in my classroom. All right, so we're going to get back down here. Announcements, modules, we looked at it, assignments, discussions. There's a grades link. I'm not going to take you to all these links, but you have them to be able to click through and read something about them. All right, these do not seem to be clickable. I don't know if that's because they haven't been put up here, but these ASU course policies and accessibility stuff and all that is actually, it should be up here somewhere. I have to go and figure out where it is myself, but it is definitely all in the syllabus, so you will be able to find it there if you're looking for it. All right, so let's go back home. Let's go down to Module 1. This is where our coursework actually starts. And you will be familiar with doing some learning this week, even though it's the first week. And a lot of times in a face-to-face classroom, the very first day is just going over stuff. But we will be diving right in. Okay, so for every module, you will see that I've given you a big idea. The big idea is what is the theme for whatever readings and assignments you have. So the big idea for Module 1 is from the beginning of our country, motivated volunteers have created some of our country's best stuff. They created libraries, they created orphanages. We don't do orphanages so much. They create anymore, but you know, they created ways of helping those who were less fortunate. The spirit of volunteerism is in many ways the spirit of America. I don't know if you are aware of this, but we did not have formal armies in the beginning. We had volunteer armies, and we had philanthropists who actually put up the money for the guns and the food and everything else that is necessary for a volunteer army. Today we have, in some communities that are not big enough, we have volunteer firefighters and volunteer police agencies. And my cousin Ethan actually lives in a little town called Essex, Connecticut. And although I think they have 1 or 2 paid people for the fire department, everybody else, all of the people that get called to the scene when there's an actual fire are volunteers. And that's just the way that their community gets it done. So we will find out that there are volunteers doing almost anything you can imagine somewhere in this country. Okay, the objectives of this module are focused on the following course outcomes: to examine the history and trends in volunteerism in our culture and describe the value of commitment to the service of others. These are the things that we're going to be talking about in this first module. All right, here are your learning materials. Sometimes I give you videos, and you see I've got a little video for you right here called How Millennials Are Redefining Volunteerism. Most of you are millennials, but at any rate, it's important that there are trends based on generations, and it's important to know what's going on right now. So there is a video for you to watch. You are required to watch it, even though it's not a reading, it's a video. And then there are 3 things here. This is a 1-pager. This is just a timeline. And again, these little things, you pull them up and it shows you the timeline. All right, so here is the timeline, and you can, it's all there by pages apparently. But at any rate, the point is you can just pull it up like that. This is a 1-pager, this is the timeline, and this is again about youth and volunteers and volunteering, and some benefits for volunteers about volunteering. All right, so this is a typical module, and what you have right here is at the bottom it says, after completing the above material, you'll be ready to complete the following assignments. And there is a discussion board here, which you could have also gotten to through the discussions, but again, it is much less confusing if you go through the modules. So for every module, there will be a discussion board. There's also going to be something that you're going to need to do to prove to me that you read. Again, I took out all the quizzes. I'm getting ready to put something back in their place. But all right, so your first video today is your first assignment on this discussion board today is to make and post a video not more than 3 minutes, because everybody needs to watch them, and you do not want to make it so that it takes forever to watch. I have to watch all of them. Not everybody will watch everybody's. But what path are you on that brought you to this particular course? And how have you experienced volunteering in your own life, both good and bad and not so good? What do you hope to take away from this course, and how do you see yourself learning it? Those are kind of open-ended questions, and what do they mean to you is how you should answer them. There is no right or wrong answer here. You're just helping the rest of us figure out what you bring to the class, what you hope to get out of the class, and for me, it will help me see what people want to learn, so I can make sure to get that information into the class if it isn't already there. Okay, and I've also asked you to come up with your own definition of volunteering that describes volunteering and addresses the boundaries of volunteering. And what I mean by that is, before you answer, think about these questions. Is watching your cousin's toddler for free volunteering? What about helping your buddy move? What if you're a counselor at a summer camp and they pay you transportation money back and forth? Is it still volunteering if you get some money for it? What if your employer makes you volunteer as part of the company's corporate social responsibility program? If your employer makes you do it, is it still volunteering? What if the employer makes you do it during work hours and you're being paid? Is that volunteering? So, in other words, I've just given you some scenarios that some people think are volunteering and some people might say are not volunteering, and I'm asking you to figure out what in your mind addresses the boundaries of volunteering. Okay, so not only do you need to answer these questions, which is this one question about definitions and this little video about yourself, but then you need to actually do a reply, engage in conversation with your peers. So one of the most important skills for a volunteer manager is active listening, and even though it's in a sense active reading in this case, or active listening to the videos, I'm going to require that everybody engage in conversation. Now, why is this important? It is not make work, and let me tell you why this is not make work. It's not make work because you already know what's in your head. You read and you take in that, and your brain filters it a little bit. What you don't know is other people's perspectives, different past experiences, different opportunities, different cultures that people come from, different communities, different organizational experiences. All of these have given people a different lens through which they filter the readings and they think about this class and the assignments. And so when you hear these different perspectives, it actually broadens your own perspective. If you do not engage with your classmates, then you walk out of here with only your own point of view and how you filtered whatever I gave you to read or to watch. I want you to have the broadest possible toolbox. I want you to learn from other people's experiences. When you have the opportunity to do volunteer management or even to be a volunteer or to help with volunteer projects, I want you to be able to have the biggest toolbox, the largest skill set that you possibly can. And one way to do that is to learn from other people. If you've ever had a great boss that you've learned from by watching or listening to how they handled situations, this is the same here. You are learning from each other, and you will be surprised when you learn how much experience even people that are fairly young have had in these areas. And so we are going to learn from each other. That's part of online learning. Okay, I have given you a very short video here that is going to help you make sure you get every possible point for these discussion sessions. Now I see that Allison left me a little note. Don't forget to populate the grade settings below. Here, you want to see how I edit this to get rid of her note because they've already been populated and I didn't remove the note. Okay, where is the note? It's all the way down here. Oops. It's all the way down here somewhere. I'm going to just take her little note out. This is how I do this in case you were curious. And then I'm going to submit it. I wonder if I can move this picture of me, since it seems to be in my way. There it is, save. All right. Okay, so now we're back in the functioning. Okay, you need to watch this. It's 4 minutes long, not anywhere near as long as this little conversation intro, but this is me with my hair done weird, having a bad hair day, but I am giving you everything you need to know to get every single point you can for these discussion opportunities. All right, here is how you're going to be graded. This is important. Your own answer is worth 20 points. You have available 15 more points that you can earn for responses to your classmates. I will give you 5 points for each response if it's a good response and if it is within the requirements of this video, what I've taught you. I will give you up to 5 points for each response for up to 3 classmates. You may, if you would like, talk to many classmates, and I highly advise that you do, but I am incentivizing you to do at least 3 classmate engagements because I want you to each have read at least 3 of your peers' work. And I urge you to vary it up. You will learn different things from different classmates. Over the semester, you may find that there are certain classmates that you feel like you really get a lot from and you will go to them every time. But I urge you to, over the course of the semester, try to read a little bit from everybody because everybody has something you can learn. Okay, here actually this reply is where you're going to put your response to my questions. Okay, and then you are going to hit the post reply button, and then somebody's going to come back and read whatever I wrote and engage me in discussion by hitting reply to my own response. Okay, so now I'm replying to myself, but I'm not actually going to do it. All right. Up here, there is a subscribe button. I highly suggest that you subscribe. That way you will get a notice that people are talking here, and it will remind you to come and do the work. And when you are watching the initial video that you saw in Module 0 about how to make sure that you have a good experience online, one of the things that you can do for yourself is to structure time and tools that will help you remember that even though the week is flying by, you need to come here and do your work. So this little subscribe tool is great because every time somebody else comes here, you will get a thing at the end of the day that tells you how many people have posted here, and it will remind you that you need to come and post too, or that you need to come back and read some of your classmates' work and post. All right, so I just took you through this Module 1. Again, there will be something else here, not the first week, but there will be something else. Well, there might be about the syllabus. But every module there will be this discussion board, and there will likely be some other thing that you need to do. All right, so these modules are not all of it. You will find, again, you'll see this in the syllabus, and I will talk to you about it more later. Here, by the way, are the learning outcomes. But you will see that where are we? You have this discussion board participation. You have a weekly question, which used to be a quiz and won't be anymore. And then you're going to have this research paper and peer critique. In other words, you're going to write one and you're going to read and critique one. And I will give you a whole module about this a whole video about this later, so that you will feel like you have all the information you need. But there's a lot of instructions right here in the syllabus so that you will feel like you know what's coming. But there is also a full written instructions page that will also be given to you in the coursework. But let's just look at it, because you can start this and finish this at any time during the semester. And if you're one of those people who likes to get things done early, this is something you need not wait on. In fact, I suggest you don't. 3.5 months goes by pretty fast. All right, so what we have here are 24 ideas that I came up with. All right, the paper is going to be 8 to 10 pages, not counting the cover page or your bibliography or any visuals. So you're going to have 8 to 10 pages of writing. You're going to sign up. There's a sign up spot, and you will see it in one of the modules to sign up for your topic. This is up to 3 students, but based on the number of students we have this semester, it's actually up to 2 students may sign up for the same topic. There is also a space on the sign up for you to propose your own topic. I really want you to use this paper to delve into something that is very interesting to you personally, having to do with volunteers, volunteer management, or something that you think it will be beneficial to your career path if you know more about it. So I've given you 24 ideas. You are welcome to pick one. It's first come, first serve, and only 2 people per. So that may make a difference to you about how fast you think about this. But also, if you have a favorite topic or a topic that you are very interested in, if you are already, for example, overseeing volunteers or actually are a volunteer at the theater and you want to talk about volunteering in community theater, you can do that. Now there is one right here that's volunteers in entertainment that's a little more broad, and you could pick to use it that way, or you could add your own that's just basically community theater specific. So again, I'm giving you choices. The important point is I want you to pick a topic that you are either very interested in learning more deeply about, or that you think will help you with your career. Okay, so your instructions for this paper, you're going to actually, I find, let me just back up and say, I find that when students want to do a paper, what they do is they pick a topic, say volunteers in entertainment, and they just splash it into Google and they see what comes up, and then they write whatever they find. We are not doing it that way. We're going to do a more grown-up version, a more sophisticated professional version of research for this paper. You, instead of starting with a search, you're going to start by creating a list of questions. you are going to decide what you want to know about before you start Googling. So you're going to create a short list of questions that you would like answers to. For example, I talked a little bit about community theater. Perhaps your question is, what is the best way to recruit professional choreographers, volunteer professional choreographers? Maybe you would like to start a theater, but you need a choreographer and you don't have any money because you're just starting up. How would you recruit a professional choreographer to be your volunteer, to do what they do professionally as a volunteer? Maybe that's your question. Maybe it's not about recruiting at all, but whatever it is, you're going to make up the questions. What are you interested in knowing? And then when you begin your search, when you begin your Google search or your library search, you will start from what you want to know. You will actually create the questions about what you want to know and then start Googling instead of Googling more broadly and then figuring out what's available. Okay, the second thing you're going to do is actually plan your research. You're going to develop a list of places to look for information. You will be required to pull from both primary and secondary sources. Secondary sources I start with because that's the stuff you can find by Googling or asking the librarian. Secondary sources are people who had similar interests and they already collected some info and wrote it up for you. So it's articles or video about a subject matter or books, whatever. Primary sources is information you gather yourself. So if we were doing a big research study, you might actually send out a survey, and actually you could if you want, and that might be okay. But easier ways to do primary research are to find somebody who's doing a job that you're interested in writing about and do an interview. Go somewhere where something is happening, a volunteer activity that is something that's part of what you want to study, and do observations or review real data, like organizational annual reports, recruiting materials, or any kind of other documents that might be put together in pursuit of a particular goal. That you can either find online or you can get organizations to share with you. All that stuff are primary sources, stuff that you will have to look at yourself and then write about. So you will need at least one primary source and you will need a bunch of secondary sources. So where might you find these sources? Well, obviously Google Scholar, the library, news sources will be great for secondary sources. That's the kind of internet and library research you can do. For your primary sources, interviews and personal observations are often the easiest to arrange, but we're not necessarily looking for easy. We're looking for you to learn what you need to learn to answer the questions you created. And so sometimes answering those questions may require you to do something besides observation or interview. If you're not sure what to do, please connect with me. I'd love to help you with that. Okay, I'm not going to read the rest of this to you, but you're going to have to do a short literature review. That basically is you just read all that stuff you pulled up, you pick 2 or 3 or 5, however many are really relevant to the questions you're asking, and you write them up briefly, okay? And there is a more detailed explanation. And actually, I gave you an example from one of my own writings about what a literature review looks like. And then after you've done the literature review, you're going to add depth and authenticity to your research by writing up what you found and adding it as your body. It will support what you found about your questions. And then you're going to complete your paper in standard format. You'll need like an opening and the body and a summary and conclusion of your important points, etc. Again, there's much more detailed explanation. And then it reminds you that you need proper citation. There is a link here to help you if you're not sure what APA style looks like. And I don't care about margins and stuff like that. I'm just talking about the citation. Okay. You also have to cite things like interviews and materials that you find online, and all of how to do that can be found at this link, I hope. All right, if you have trouble, then just Google, how do I cite a journal article, or how do I cite a website, or how do I cite an interview, APA style, and you will pull it up immediately. Okay, now you've written your paper and turned it in. We're going to give you some time to read the paper you also signed up to critique. You will critique one that you wrote on a topic and pick a completely different topic to critique, and you will critique somebody else's work, and there will be some instructions for how to critique and actually critique form to make it easy for you. The due dates are on the syllabus calendar. Okay. There's a grading scale here. There's a lot of other information I'm not going to read to you. All right, there's a whole thing about plagiarism. Again, there's a bunch of sources down here that should help you learn to cite if you're unclear. And then there's this calendar. So you can see right here that I've got you week 1 assigned materials. This is missing something. I can't remember what I was going to put in there. I think I was just going to tell you to review this video. So by now you've already found it. Anyway, and then week 1 activities. And here are some of the same things. This is what Allison used, I think, to make that first week's module. So you've got to sign up for a group. And basically, I'm going to have you sign up for groups based on your time availability. In face-to-face classes, I tend to have students who are all obviously able to be in the classroom at a certain time, sign up by what they're interested in. But in an online class, it's really important for you to sign up by when you are available, so that if you're going to do some group work, you can do the group work. You know, you'll be in a group of people who are available when you are, and then you don't have to fight so hard to find a time to get together. Again, you're getting together by CyberTool, by Google Hangout, or whatever you prefer, unless you all happen to be living in Tempe or something and want to meet near campus, which is fine. Okay, and you will see that there are due dates on here. All right, week 2, again, here is the big idea. Here's the assigned material. Here are the week 2 activities, and so on and so forth. You will see that I have actually, by the time you see this, I will have finished this. There will be no week 2 quiz here. This will disappear, and there will be dates for this week, which you see the dates right here. I actually don't think these are right because I'm still in the process of fixing all this stuff. But anyway, all right, so you will see that there's calendar for all of this stuff all the way through every week. All right, so that is our syllabus. I can't remember where I was before I did that. Let's get out of here. Okay, so that's Module 1. You saw the syllabus for Module 1. I'm trying to think what else I need to tell you. It looks like here are the link for the, yeah, here's a bunch of stuff that you might need, ASU policies and so forth. All right, we will just figure all this out later. Resources, I'm not sure if there's anything here. Reach your goal. Okay, so this is ASU stuff, not stuff I give you. Well, that's helpful. All right, here are grades. I don't think I have any grades because I'm an educator, but let's see if we can. Okay. So far, what I see here is Module 3, Module 1. I don't know why, but this is the grade book, and there's nothing to grade yet. But your grade book should show up when you go there. Okay, this is a very long video. It is almost an hour, so it's 45 minutes, and I want to end it. If you have any questions at all, please go to this link. Where'd it go? Oh, for heaven's sakes. I think you can get to it from a lot of places, but even though I told you not to come this way, there's the Q&A forum. And this board is for general questions about the course, anything of a personal nature, email me. You are free to answer the questions that other students post if you know the answer. Please do. It may take me 24 or 48 hours to get back here. A student may get here who knows the answer first, so please feel free. Again, I strongly suggest you hit this subscribe button so when other people ask questions, questions, you can also have the answers. It is important to make it easier for you guys to use a subject line that says exactly what you want to know. Question about the quiz is very unhelpful. What chapters does quiz 3 cover is much more specific. So of course there will be no more quizzes, but you get the idea about making your subject line very specific so that other students can show up and see whether their question has already been asked, so they don't have to write a new question if it has. Okay, that is that. And I'm at 45 minutes and 15 seconds, and I'm going to say, if you have questions, put them in Q&A. If they're personal, email me specifically, and do not hesitate to come and ask me for office hours if that is something you need. And you do not have to be failing or having a problem to ask for office hours. You can just want to talk to me about something that we're studying, or ask me about where a volunteer activity is, or talk to me about which amazing organization you might be able to talk to for a potential internship. I am good for all kinds of conversations, and I'm looking forward to this semester with you. I hope to never have another video quite this long. Have a great first week.